Pardon me and my tone. You can't step to my throne. They ain't working like me. I did this on my own. You asking where we been, huh? I don't know where to begin, huh? All this dirt on my skin. I just came here to win. I'm more than a man, I'm a monster. Somebody call a pastor, doctor. I got a 6th sense for imposters. So now I'm coming for the whole roster. It's not a game, why you playing with me? You could double back, lose track, try and hang with me. It must be in my veins, something you can't tame, cause I break the chain. Can't control me. I got the power.
Welcome to Talkin VAWLS Live Championship Edition. My name is the Indy Kid.
I'm Dauber. What's happening, man?
Seems like a good day to cut down some nets and win an SEC championship. Tennessee finishes it off for the first time in 43 years, 65-50 over Texas A&M. A&M got it to 5 at one point, but really Tennessee controlled this one from the get-go. They took over that run to start the game, and they never looked back. Opening thoughts on this game today, and of course we'll transition into tournament talk and going from there. But opening thoughts on this game.
The momentum that this team has, the way they're shooting the ball right now, you look at your big three right now, the guys that Santiago Vescovi, who started the year and was Mr. Consistent, Josiah Jordan-James has always kind of been the gel for this team, but he has really started to emerge as a guy that's going to night in and night out be productive. And then Kennedy Chandler as a true freshman coming in and had some up and down times, but the way he's kind of come through and grown and matured to where he is right now at the end of the season, those three guys, if they're rolling, this is going to be a tough team. I'm telling you.
Yeah, I think they've got a run in them for sure. I don't think anybody wants to see Tennessee, and we'll get into seeding and stuff. Just seeing the projections has had me a little fired up today, not in a good way, but these guys, they just get the job done. I mean, Chandler went for 14 today, 7 assists, no turnovers, 4 rebounds. James was 16 points, 10 rebounds, 2 assists. 3 blocks. He had some big blocks too.
Oh, the one he
and then Vescovi was, that was nice. Vescovi had 17 points, 5 assists, 1 turnover. He had a good game. And then Fulkerson 8 points and 12 rebounds. So Fulkerson had a good game today as well. Yeah. I thought Ziegler had one of his worst games, if not his worst game of the year. He had 6 turnovers today. So that's the exception rather than the norm for him. I'm confident he'll bounce back from that. But, yeah, it just was a team that they just took care of business, man. Let me get to a couple super chats here. Evan Counts, man, I love all y'all true Tennessee fans. This means the world to my family. My dad finally got to see a championship from heaven. Go Vols. Awesome. Awesome, man. Yeah, it's a big day, man. It was just seeing the emotion on Fulkerson at the end crying. That's why he came back, for that reason.
For sure. And you touched on it last night. You love to see that for him.
Yep. And he had a big game today. I mean, a big dunk late.
Huge
really
dunk.
Was kind of the icing on the cake.
Yeah.
Just that was big, man. That was one of those you see that. It was a feel-good moment. And we had another. John Hill. Woo! $50. Thank you very much, John. Boom. SEC champions, baby. Go Big Orange. 43 years. So the last time there was an SEC championship, I was not old enough to remember it. I've always said that I'm not that big on one, but now that they've won it, yeah, this is the year. We've said it for a while. I said this is the year I want to see them do it, make that deep run, and the fact that they did it on a neutral court, they beat a decent Mississippi State team, beat a good Kentucky team, beat a hot A&M team, and they did all three of them really, and just took care of business.
Yeah,
I mean, each of those teams would get semi-close, and then they just turned it back on. This team come to Tampa. I don't know. They just they looked relaxed from the get-go, and it showed all weekend. Hopefully they enter next weekend with that same mentality as well. That was big for them.
You touched on it Friday night. You're talking about how comfortable and just relaxed that the team looked. And it really showed that they never pressed. They never got ahead of themselves. Didn't seem to panic. Just really good ball games put together 3 nights in a row. The one thing that I want to pull from this game, particularly that shows that you look at 19 assists on 22 makes. That's running an efficient offense. That's moving the ball, finding people with open shots, and man, it's. I said it the way this team has played, and now you're 12 of your last 13 games you've won. It's been a good run. This team is playing like we said all along. They're playing the type of basketball you want to be playing heading into March.
Yep, they're playing their best at the right time. Now let's just hope it carries over in the next week because it's go time now. It's the crap gets real now. Will Good for 5. Thank you very much, Will. Got to be a 2. Lenardi still saying a 3. I'll go into this. It is absolutely pissed me off today seeing the potential seedings and them still having Kentucky and Auburn ahead of Tennessee. You cannot justify it. There is no way. I don't care if Auburn won the conference regular season or not. Tennessee won the head-to-head. Auburn went out. In the first game of the tournament, Tennessee has 2 head-to-head wins over Kentucky in the last 2 meetings. There is no way, shape, or form you can justify having either of those teams ahead of Tennessee. Tennessee, at worst, should be a 2 seed. And frankly, they've got a good case for a 1 seed. They're not going to be a 1. But I don't know how you can't give it to them like that. And I'm sure we'll touch upon that again. But thank you, Will. And then we got Bionic Clay, $5. So proud of this team. Everyone's unselfish, plays extremely hard. Good old Rocky Top. Yeah, they are. Very unselfish team. Sometimes too unselfish, I would say. But just the transformation this team made from, January 15th. That post game, I don't know. Again, sometimes you need that beatdown. And that's what happened to them. And look what's happened ever since. That was the best thing that happened to this Tennessee team. They've rebounded from it. And now they're going in the NCAA tournament playing their best basketball. And who knows how far they can go.
Yeah. And I mean, if you look at Auburn's last 10 games, they've had a couple close contests, snuck away from Georgia with a 2-point win. Got beat by Arkansas, got beat by Tennessee, got beat by Florida. They're not playing good basketball right now. So that's another point in that Tennessee's a hot team right now. They won the head-to-head matchup, like you said. I don't know how that it makes sense to put an Auburn team that is on the slide above Tennessee, especially when they won head-to-head. And the same thing with Kentucky. Tennessee won 2 out of 3 over Kentucky. It's simple.
Can't justify it. When those seedings come out tonight, I hope the committee does the right thing. And because if Tennessee's a 3 and those 2 are 2s, that's a joke. And I hope Lenardi's off on that. You just can't, especially Tennessee win the head-to-heads. And I mean, they finished higher in the conference than Kentucky. Or they finished with the same record, but Tennessee had the head-to-head. They had the tiebreaker on it. They went in as the higher seed, and they beat them in the tournament. And again, Auburn, like I said, man, they're on a slide. They're just – we'll see. We'll find out here in a few hours, but I just don't see how this team's honestly not a contender for a 1 seed. But, we'll see because Duke got beat last night. Duke lost their last regular season game at home. I don't know.
And that's the thing. That's why playing hard in the tournament, you're playing for seeding. So,
yeah.
Then why even play these games if it doesn't contend into the season or the seeding? Yeah. If you're just going to base it off the regular season.
Yeah.
Or
then the conference tournaments are irrelevant if that's the case. But
or if you're just going to base it off of history.
Yeah.
Because that's what Kentucky fans want to talk about is history.
Hey, I got some history for them. They got to go home and get on the bus yesterday and sell all their tickets that were left over. I got some history. A couple weeks prior to that, they got smoked in Knoxville too.
Yeah,
we rewrite some more history. Let's maybe we'll meet them in New Orleans and send them to the house again. Travis Adair for $5. Thank you, Travis. We appreciate you. Congrats, boys. Enjoy your championship. They were the best team in this tournament. Yep, wasn't even close either. It was not even close. A&M, I don't know. I'm surprised that wasn't a closer game today. I mean, A&M cut it to 5, but it just didn't feel like they were a threat today. This team's defense was spot on, and it seemed like every time, man, they just – I don't know. There would be a big shot from Vescovy or Chandler. I mean, of course, James, he did it all today. Had a great game again today. Evan Cancel been through so much BS for so long. We all deserve this. Yeah, I've kind of got some cautious optimism just because now it's real. You know, if they were to come up and lay an egg next week, everybody's going to forget this. I think this team's got a good run in them. It's going to be interesting to see what bracket, who they're paired with as well, though.
Listen, I'm tickled. I'm so happy and so proud of this team for winning the conference tournament championship. But I don't want to hang my hat on that. Yeah. I want to see them make a run because I know this team is capable. When they play their best basketball, I know this team can play with anybody in the country. And I think it all is going to come down to the drawing and who they're matched up against. Because ultimately, the tournament, that's what it boils down to, is your matchup. If they get a favorable draw and are playing good basketball, and that's minimizing fouls, which there were a couple points today and maybe goes to the officiating, some quick whistles. But we had some guys get in foul trouble. But limit turnovers, minimize fouls, and continue shooting like they have been on a neutral site. Because earlier in the year, we know they struggled with that. But I think that's a key. And I think if they can put all that together, this defense is good enough that the offense just has to do enough.
Yep. Let's see, Tim Bradley, $2, spreading the mustard, baby, GBO. Yeah. Yeah, pretty cool. Pretty cool stuff. Showing right now, guys, we got 277 in here watching right now. Now, I just checked, and I'm only seeing 62 thumbs up. Something with the math's off on that, guys. Let's hit that thumbs up. Let's drive that up a little bit. Man, a lot of you. Just going through the comments, lots of them. Chandler said they plays every game's championship. Yeah, you have to at this point. You got to get in a tournament mindset at this point. If you don't bring it, you're going home.
Yeah.
Now, you're going to the house. So it is win or go home right now. Everybody's in that same mindset. We'll see. Not sure, obviously, what bracket they'll be in. If Duke's a 2, I hope they get in with Duke. I think Tennessee can send Duke to the house if they get to that point. Of course, you're going with Coach K's last year too. So who knows what kind of magic and officiating may come out of that one.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I would say if it's a close game, you might as well just forget about it if you're playing Duke this year. I think Tennessee straight. I don't think it would come down to that, though. But let's see. Tucker White, 94, $5. Thank you very much, Tucker. Okay, what bizarro timeline did we wind up in? Tennessee supposed to cause an unending agony and frustration. Yeah, really, man. What's this championship stuff? I even took a picture of it on the screen. That was a little bit of the reason we was a little bit late going on. Tennessee doesn't win championships very often. I'm going to sit and watch and enjoy it. We can delay the start of it. Yep. We can delay the start of the show for that. And appreciate you guys staying with us. But that's something I wanted to see, just the comments and stuff that they had was with Barnes, with Josiah Jordan James, just watching these guys, Fulkerson, crying. Excuse me. Pretty cool stuff, man. Pretty cool. And
well, it's fun to watch because the way this team plays. A few years ago when you had Jordan Bone, Admiral, and Grant Williams, that was a fun team to watch. But this team right here is a lot different than that team. This team there's so much camaraderie and togetherness, and you see it on the sidelines, on the court. They really play together, and just the way that this team has grown throughout the season, and even for the coaching staff to kind of make adjustments and change, it's been a really fun season to watch. And man, I hope they have 4, 5, 6 games left. That would be the icing on the cake for this season, or the cherry on top,
Yeah, whatever you want to call it. That's right. Joel Certain for 10. Thank you, Joel. Could we see a Talkin VAWLS selection show stream? It's a pretty good idea, actually. I don't think we'll be able to do that at this point. We hadn't even talked about that. I hadn't even thought of it, honestly. So I'd say we'll just we'll plan on being live later on the week. Depends on, if they come to Greenville on Friday, I guess Boogie and Dauber's going to have to carry that one because I'm probably making the trip to Greenville over the weekend. We'll see how it goes. So let's see what else we got here. Going through just looking at the team stats today. They held A&M to 31%, 21% from three-point range. The one flaw again, 64% from the free throw line. That's what I'm afraid is going to be their Achilles heel in some close game in the tournament. Game,
right.
That's my big fear, and it's just their free throw shooting. It's just not.
But still, even they just went to the line 14 times. I still think you need to be up around 20, 18 to 20 shot because you're driving the ball. Although I can't say that. Let's see, 28 3-point attempts. That is throwing it up a little bit more than they have been. It seemed like a lot more.
That was zone defense for you, though.
It seemed like a lot more went in than 12, though. Because like you said, when A&M started, whittling down that lead, it seemed like Vescovi or James or Chandler, one of them would hit a big three. But it's one of those things. The rebounding, I think, is a big key for this game. Tennessee hit the glass pretty hard, and especially the first half. And I know A&M's coach was talking about that in the half. For them to have a chance, they were going to have to be better rebounding, and that just speaks to Tennessee's. Defensively, they had 29 rebounds, so that's really limiting A&M's second chance points.
Yeah, it wasn't near as bad as it's been this week. They were much better on that end today. I hope say it. Teak for $2. Rocky Top on repeat for the rest of the day. Wear it out, man. It's a good day for it. Good day for it. Let's see. Still going through here. Haven't seen like, I don't know. I don't look at the brackets that they put together. I'd seen one of them earlier in the week that had them playing as the 3 seed. And if they won, they'd play the winner of Texas and Memphis. But I don't think Texas will be a 6 seed. I would think they would be a little higher than that, but I could be wrong on that as well. But I don't know, man. I just don't see how in the world that this team with this record and this role they're on and as champs of the conference tournament is anything lower than a 2 seed. You can't justify it. There is just absolutely no way on it. And, hopefully we're getting aggravated at nothing and Lenardi proves that he's off on this, but it wouldn't shock me either at all. Let's see what else we got here. We'll see how long we're 21 minutes in. We got 308 people. Day 3 in a row we've been on here. Bonnet Clay for 5. Not ashamed to admit I got a little emotional watching Folky celebrate Love Vista. Yeah, I did too. It was that was cool. I mean, that's why he came back. Because I still maintain it. Had he not gotten the cheap shot elbow last year, I don't think Fulkerson would have been back this year. I really don't. I don't just think he didn't want to go out like that. Kennedy Chandler named as MVP of the tournament. Well deserved, too. Thank you for the $2, Teak. We appreciate that. Yeah, he's playing his – I mean, he's got one flaw, and that's free throw shooting. Other than that, this dude's – Tennessee's going into this tournament with one of, if not the best backcourts in the nation.
Oh, absolutely. And then you got Ziegler coming off the bench.
Yeah.
It's insane. And when you've got Chandler, Vescovy, and Ziegler on the floor at the same time, that's tough to defend. And that's the point we made early in the season. When things weren't going, when the bigs weren't producing, we said, why not? Why not put the most athletic guys out there, including Josiah Jordan-James, and give teams, they got to pick their poison. Who you guarding? Who you trying to double on? It makes it tough to defend. So yeah. When this team when they went to that lineup, I think we first saw it, in the North Carolina game?
Yeah.
We saw it a little bit there, and really up to that point, especially after the night before when Villanova just laid it to Tennessee, that was a good bounce back game and gave us a preview of what this offense could be with those guys on the floor. Yeah. And it's done nothing but get better the more they've gone to it.
Philip Scout for $5. Thank you, Philip. Defense travels, go Vols. That's this team's calling card. That is their calling card is defense, and they're playing as good a defense as they have all year right now. They've been shutting team. I mean, even in their loss at Arkansas, I mean, they was still a very good defensive game from them. I mean, this team's going to go as far as their defense takes them on it. They're not going to win games scoring 80 and 90 points for the most part, but they're going to win them by holding teams to 50, low 50s, somewhere along those lines. And they're just a grinded out team. And when you got guys like Vescovy and Ziegler, those guys can go all day long, nonstop motors. They could literally play the whole game, and
well, yeah,
you wouldn't even know it at the end.
You look at Vescovy's minutes tonight. He had 35. You had James with 38 minutes, Kennedy Chandler with 37 minutes. So I saw somebody made a comment earlier in the chat talking about conditioning. And I think this team, especially you look at those guys, They've got motors, endurance. You know, as they stay out of foul trouble, those guys can stay in the game. They can run up and down the court, and they're not taking plays off. That's the thing I like about this team, especially those guys. You don't see them, just jogging every once in a while, especially Vescovi. You look at him, his movement without the ball to work himself open. The guy is always moving. Yeah, we've been a little critical of him in the past. At times, he's a little out of control with the ball, but I wouldn't trade him for anybody else, right? He's a perfect.
He has those maddening plays sometimes. He's going to have at least one every game, but
doesn't everybody?
It is what it is. Yeah,
as good as Kennedy Chandler is, you look at last night when he double dribbled.
Yeah,
just that was a true freshman moment, but that could happen to anybody. You look at the Fab Five back at Michigan, calling the timeout that they didn't have.
Yeah,
I mean, it's big game moments, and that's when your mental conditioning has to be better. So it is one of those things, and that's why they play the games. But I love this team, and I love the way they play together.
Unselfish team. They pull for one another. Mm-hmm. I mean, you see the bench up the whole game, rooting one another on. They can get on each other a little bit and not get bothered by it as well. I saw it a time or two today where they were would get on each other.
Well,
stuff, but then it's like nothing.
It's holding each other accountable. And I think you've got to have that too.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, I mean, people were unhappy with Barnes earlier in the year. That's for sure. And you wait and see if they come up. If they were to come up and lose next weekend, there's going to be rumblings and groaning next weekend.
Well, it'll be the same narrative that Barnes carried with him from Texas.
Yeah, it'll be the same thing there. I mean, people were unhappy with how they were playing, but Barnes went to the drawing board and turned it around. Hats off. This was one of his best, if not his best coaching job, definitely at Tennessee. And I was kind of surprised to see it. He hadn't won a conference championship since '94 with Providence. So he never won the conference tournament at Texas. That really surprised me.
I don't know
with some of the teams he had there. Yeah, when I saw that, I was very surprised by it. So it was interesting to see. Let's see. I mean, a lot of people's upset with the ESPN. Well, let's see how it comes out. Maybe Lenardi's wrong. He's normally pretty good, though. I'll give him credit. I don't think he's as dumb as people think on it, but
it's hard to see two teams that Tennessee beat above them with similar records, and then the trajectory of the end of the season with Auburn, because I think they're trending down and Tennessee's trending up. And then the fact that you beat Kentucky twice. So, I think they've got to look at the entire body of work. And, I mean, is there a team hotter than Tennessee right now? And you look at the quad one wins that they have. It's just, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. I was looking. So this was about 1:48 in the morning last night. Lenardi, his bracket, he has Tennessee at 3 versus St. Peter's. And then if they win that one, they would play the winner of Boise State and Iowa State. The 2 that he has is Duke in that. So, we'll see. His 2 seeds he's got are Duke, Purdue, Auburn, and Kentucky. Give me a break. You got to move one of those 2 down on it.
Game Over 17 says one team in the country has more quad one wins.
Let's see. Who is it? Baylor or Kansas? I don't know. I don't know who it would be, actually. I would love to see Memphis.
You think they'd cancel that one too?
I don't know. They might too. Kansas. Okay. I wondered if Kansas was maybe the one. Kansas or Baylor. I don't know. See a couple people saying Kansas. So Kansas will be a 1 seed. I think that's guaranteed.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. They've got the ones as Kansas, Baylor, Gonzaga, and Arizona. I think that's going to stick. I don't see that changing any. Your 2s are interesting, though. I mean, I think Villanova's got a case for a 2. If Purdue wins, they've got a case for it. Tennessee's got a case. Auburn, Kentucky don't have cases as 2s. They just don't. I think they're 3 seeds, or that's my opinion. Where they're going to be, they'll probably be 2s. But
and then you got Duke in there.
Yeah, Duke. I mean, Duke's I don't know. I think Tennessee and Villanova have just as good a cases as Duke.
Yeah.
For a 2 seed. I mean, Duke didn't win their conference tournament. Tennessee and Villanova did.
Right.
I mean, if you're going to have these conference tournaments, especially for the bigger conferences, better have some bearing on that.
They need to count for something.
Yeah. Okay. Jason here says Baylor has more quad 1 wins. Okay. Wisconsin. I don't know what Wisconsin. Let's see what they've got. Wisconsin now as a 3, and Wisconsin are not going to win their conference tournament, so I think they'll probably stay at 3. I mean, there's a lot of teams that have good cases there. Kind of funny, LSU fired Will Wade, and they're slated as a 5 seed. So that's kind of odd timing to do. Evidently, that notice of allegations is going to be pretty strong. It's coming in. I mean, I don't know how it could be much stronger than anything else they've been accused of. But
I don't know how when all that came out that there wasn't anything done then. That it's taken 4 years for him to say, oh yeah, I guess this is kind of bad.
Yeah. I don't get that one. I guess this one must have been pretty bad if the other stuff wasn't bad enough. Let's see. I think Gonzaga will be the overall number 1. I'd be surprised if they're not. I mean, could be Baylor. Kansas won their turn. Arizona. I mean, I'll be surprised if it's not Gonzaga, but I don't know that it really matters in those points. We'll see. Announcements will be back, at 6 o'clock on CBS?
Yep.
All right. Man, I really don't know where to go from here on it. Where do we go next? Do we talk potential tournament, who we want?
It'd be nice to get a game against Memphis. I'd love to send Kentucky or Duke home again, in Kentucky season, in Coach K's career.
Yep, that'd be all right too. I don't know, man. I still think somehow Tennessee's a 2 seed.
I think they gotta be.
Yeah, I don't see how you can't. Yeah, I mean, anybody who thinks common sense has got to put them at least over Kentucky. I mean, Auburn won the regular season conference, whatever. Maybe they have a case to be a 2, but I don't really think they do at this point just because they're the way they've been playing. But, I mean, you could look at it one way too. If they get a 3 seed, that gives them extra motivation and a chip on their shoulder too. You didn't think we were good enough what we're on? We'll just prove it to you and go to New Orleans, and then we'll see what you think of it at that point.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think this team needs any extra motivation. I said that last night. I think this team's hungry, and they were wanting to cut down nets today in Tampa, and I think they want to, end up in a Final Four and potentially, playing for a national championship. That would that would be so amazing to see this team go on a run like that.
They've got on the projections Auburn and Duke as twos playing in Greenville. One of those needs to be swapped out for Tennessee. It's just, I mean, I guess it doesn't really matter if they go to Greenville or Indianapolis, either one. But either way, they should be the two in that, because this has got Tennessee and Pittsburgh. I don't know how in the hell they're coming up with Pittsburgh on it, but Pittsburgh, them and Villanova, both of the threes in Pittsburgh. That's not I mean, if Tennessee played St. Peter's, if I'm not mistaken, that's more St. Peter's territory. You're going to penalize Tennessee? I mean, it wouldn't surprise me any, but we'll see. But we'll see how the schedule goes. We'll find that out later this evening. Obviously, where they're playing will determine the day on it. And we'll kind of update you guys on our live schedule moving forward. But just kind of recap this year, man. I just really proud of this Tennessee team. Really proud of Rick Barnes and his staff, because it was a point in time conference play started rough. And rough for them, though. They never lost back-to-back games. That's pretty good. And, you know, things happen. Adversity, your best big goes out for the year in Kamwa. And then, I mean, in between Euros, Fulkerson, Huntley Hatfield, and Adu, all four of those guys have stepped up and made big contributions down the stretch. It seems like it's a different guy every game stepping up. They figured out how to get these guards on the floor at the same time. Again, at Tennessee, and we'll see where it goes. I mean, we'll see where they go in the tournament. That's going to be what they're judged upon. But if they make a Sweet 16 run or deeper, which they got the high capabilities of doing, this will be easily Barnes' best coaching job while at Tennessee. And, you know, this is a young team. Fulkerson's gone. Chandler's going to the NBA. I'll be shocked if he doesn't. Other than that, everybody else can return. Future's bright with Tennessee basketball right now, for now
absolutely.
And in the future.
100%. Hard to argue anything you just said. I can't say enough about this team. The way that they've gelled and come together, the fact that they play so unselfish, it's fun to watch. It's frustrating to watch sometimes too, though. I think you hit that on the head. That they play unselfish, sometimes to a fault. But I really like this team to make a run. You know, you called it the other day, talking about beating Kentucky. I'm going to say this team's at least going to the Sweet 16. I think the way they're playing right now, they're one of those buzzsaw teams, and I don't think anybody wants to see them put in their quadrant of the bracket. And just depending on the way those games go, man, Sweet 16 may even be just the tip of the iceberg for this team.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. I think Barnes has got 3 years left after this. I may be wrong on that. I seen somebody say 4, so that could be right. Chandler and James going. I think James will go through the process. I think he'd be crazy not to. I mean, I think technically James could have 2 more years left if he doesn't. That's not including a red shirt. But he's going to have the COVID year. Plus, I mean, he would be a senior next year, so he could technically have 2 more years. I expect him to go through the process this year. I mean, why not? What's he have to lose? And I would think, too, the way he's played here late in the year, his stock has gone up.
Oh, yeah.
Some, too. I mean, he's got the game. You know, he can improve more. I think he can play in the NBA. I think he's got the NBA body. He's got an NBA game. I don't know if he'll go this year. I mean, again, I would at least, if I were him, I would go through the process on it. See where you are. and then you can always come back. Barnes, I didn't think Barnes got it. Maybe he is through 27. I was thinking that they just redid money on it. I didn't think anything was added, but yeah, I think that's what I was saying. I think James could play 2 more years on it with the COVID year, but I think I don't know, maybe he just decides he's going to come back, and then next year he goes through the process and sees where he's at possibly. I hope he comes back. I wish Chandler would too, but at the same time, I'm pretty confident he's going to be a first-round pick, and his stock's got to be going back up again too.
Well, and the point you've made multiple times, you want to see these guys that come in that are the elite talents come in, have success, and then get drafted high, because that breeds more success on the recruiting front. It means that you can come to Tennessee, be showcased, succeed, and get drafted high, because ultimately that's what these elite level talents are wanting to do. It's a fine line though, becoming a one and done factory, because you've seen you can have success at that, but it can also backfire for you.
Yeah, I mean, Kentucky's won one championship during Calipari's time up there? That was with Anthony Davis and that crew. That was but man, I mean, you even look the year he had John Wall and Cousins and Bledsoe, and they got put out.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't. You want. I don't think you want a team full of one and done guys. I mean, Duke is not winning anything with these. I mean, look at the classes they brought in with R.J. Barrett and Zion Williamson.
Yeah,
those guys, and they got put out. I mean, Kentucky's done it. I think you want to mix. You want to have maybe 1 or 2 one and done guys, but overall, I think the college game right now, the teams winning it are the teams that overall, it's guys that are there for multiple years getting that game.
Well, and I think, to be honest with you, I think there was a different mentality in a guy like Kennedy Chandler and some of the guys that go to your Kentuckys or your Dukes and all of that. I think Kennedy Chandler came to Tennessee because he wanted to be coached by Rick Barnes. He wanted to be pushed to get better and fine-tune his craft. You know, and he said it multiple times. That's why I came to Tennessee. So it's one of those things. I think there's a different mindset to some of these elite talents as well. But, you know, just like Springer and Keon Johnson, you know, having those guys come to Tennessee last year, you know, that's we've had more talent in the last couple of years at Tennessee collectively than combining a lot of years. You know, you could go back and, you know, you had Tobias Harris, Vincent Yarbrough. You've had some of these, you know, high rated guys, but to start getting them on a consistent basis, that speaks to where this program is. Now, if they can start not just bringing that talent in, but sustaining success, you know, winning a regular season conference championship, winning the tournament championship like today, having deep runs in the NCAA tournament, not just being satisfied with making the tournament.
Yeah.
That's when, you know, your program has gotten to a level of some of those, you know, quote unquote blue blood programs. But I don't want to live in the past like some of those programs tend to do. I want to live in the now. And I want to celebrate this team and what they're doing right now.
That's right. I think Edwards was a good pickup. He's got some big shoes to fill when he comes in for Chandler. I mean, I've seen some saying they wouldn't bet. What was it last night saying, well, there'll be no drop off. I wouldn't expect that. I would expect, and that's nothing against Edwards. Chandler's good, man. the fact he's doing this as a true freshman cannot be understated. This is a weird question here. And anybody else feel bad? Are you talking about Auburn? Who feels bad for Auburn? I don't know. I'm kind of lost on that one, but no, I will never feel bad for Auburn. Any kind of loss or anything.
Let me throw this out here, though. You got if Chandler's gone, which more than likely we're all in agreement. We think he is. You move Ziegler to starting at the 1 spot, running the point. Edwards as a 2, so he doesn't come in with all the pressure of running the point, and ease him into the season. That could, if Vescovi comes back, I think you're still in good hands. You get some of your bigs. You get Kamwa back. Huntley Hatfield, get him more involved. Man, like you said, I think the future for this program with what is in place right now, I think it's in good shape. And then, of course, you've got transfer portal. Could you go out and pick somebody up in the portal?
Yeah, I think the right guy would be a good fit. And I mean, we said it last night. I don't know if anybody will leave, but I mean, I think it's natural to expect attrition each year. Hopefully not, but I'm curious to see what happens with Victor Bailey. Does he come back? Does he go somewhere else? What happens there? I'm not going to speculate on any other guys. I think there's some guys, hopefully some of these guys who didn't play much this year will just go through the process and be patient and learn. I do feel confident after last year, though. Barnes, I think, had those tough conversations with some guys who went elsewhere. And all these guys are contributing elsewhere, too. I saw where, funny enough, Anna Sicky, was it Cal State Fullerton, if I'm not mistaken? Or it's one of the Cal team, Bakersfield maybe. They won their conference tournament and got in. He had like 20-some points and close to a double-double. So, I mean, some of these guys that Barnes told to go elsewhere went and showed they were good players. They just couldn't get on the court at Tennessee for whatever reason. But, I think if everybody comes back other than Chandler and Fulkerson, you just plug Ziegler in, and you got Edwards hopefully to be a backup, or you can go out and hit the portal too. Do they go portal, or do they try to get Judah Mintz, who I know they've recruited, who's a 4-star, I think, combo guard? So do they go that route, or do they find somebody good they can get in the portal? I think their options they probably have some good options in the portal. And if it's the right guy, I wouldn't hesitate to it, because this team's good enough where you add one big piece to it, that could be your difference in a championship. And this is a team that I think can legitimately think championship for the next few years at least.
Yeah. And another thing that, we've kind of had an opinion about, and at least my thoughts on NIL and basketball at Tennessee is it's not Rick Barnes' style, and I don't know how much he's going to delve into it with the time he has left there. But maybe a deep run in the NCAA tournament, maybe that changes things. Maybe that sparks some boosters, and the Spire Sports Group. Maybe some of that NIL money gets funneled into the basketball program, because success breeds success. You start winning, people want that to continue, and they're going to support it. And if one thing's for sure, Tennessee fans are passionate. And it showed last year with the run in baseball. It shows with where the football program has been the last decade plus, and you're still getting the attendance and the draw in the Neyland Stadium. Tennessee fans will, they'll be there regardless. But if you're winning, they're definitely going to be there. So it's interesting to see.
It's like James said post-game in the interview, this fan base is second to none. Passionate and everything. You build it, they will come. Yeah, every sport, Tennessee's, they're supporting it. They're supporting it strongly. And yeah, Tennessee fan base at times is crazy and gets upset things aren't going right. But you know what? By God, we've earned it too after this crap show of football and some of the crap show with basketball that's happened over the years with the Pearl debacle, the Konzo, the Donnie Tyndall stuff, and then all the football stuff. This fan base has earned the right to get a little upset at times after all the just terrible admin decisions over the years. You know, Tennessee's admin is the strongest it has been in years from top to bottom, and everybody's on the same page. Yeah, you could give some other ADs some credit for the coaches coming in, but ultimately now this is a well-rounded program, and that's what Danny White had coming from Central Florida. All his programs were strong. That was something that excited me about him coming in. And you're seeing, it seems like there's a good culture throughout. Everybody's supporting one another, no matter what sport it is, whether it's women's, men's, they're all supporting each other.
And like he said in his introductory conference, build the brand of Tennessee. Not talking about just building the football program or this or that. It's the brand of the University of Tennessee, and it's every sport.
Yep, that's right. Let's see. This is not a Badgers podcast, or network, but thanks for saying go Badgers twice on there. Let's see. We're about 51 minutes. 320 people, guys. If you haven't already, hit that like button. Smash the like button. Hit subscribe. Tournament selection show a little less than 2 hours. We'll see where they're going. A lot of debate we've had on here today. We'll find out short enough. And then we'll determine the schedule this week. Depends on location, all those things. If it's a afternoon game on Thursday, there's just no way on that for me. I mean, as long as they're not in Greenville, and if I don't go up there, then I should be good the rest of the weekend on it. But any final thoughts on this championship Sunday?
Man, it's good. It's great to be a Tennessee Vol.
Great day. Nice to see a championship. Nice to see Tennessee's name attached to the word champions. Hopefully it'll carry on. We'll see where this team could go. Sky's the limit for them. Playing their best ball at the best time. We said it in January. We said it in February. It doesn't matter how you're playing now. It matters in March. This team's hot in March. They've done a great job responding to adversity, looking in the mirror, and doing things. Less than 2 hours, we'll find out this team's destination. You know what? If they're a 3 seed, whatever, bring it on. That's just extra motivation for this team. And I think they'll be ready to go come tournament time. But we're going to wrap this thing up, guys, and we'll see you later in the week. It's been a fun run. It's been nice to see conference championship. If you'd have told me it's 2 months ago, I'd have laughed about it. But what a difference 2 months makes. Excellent job by Tennessee. And we'll keep on rolling on through March. Hopefully we're here with you next few weeks. Maybe we'll wrap this thing up on a Monday night.
Cutting some more nets down.
Cutting some more nets. Let's sharpen them scissors up. Getting ready to do some cutting. But he's Dauber. My name's the Indy Kid. This is the Talkin VAWLS Network. You guys enjoy the rest of your Sunday. And go SEC champion, Tennessee Vols.
That we call home.